Excuse me. Had some root beer. A&W style. Hold on. A little bit. There we go. Alright. Camera's never quite perfect, is it? Alright, now I am very close to completing this. My road to victory. Now, I was confused because I started watching this, Occupation from 2018. And I was looking up the second one, and it says it's a 2020 film, but everything else says it's released in 2021. So I don't know. But I'm counting it as 2021. So that's Rainfall. But the first one, Occupation. It's an Australian action sci-fi film about a group of survivors, rebels, fighting against an alien invasion in a small Australian town. It's got some names. Tamara Morrison comes to mind. He was in Star Wars and Aquaman. And specifically, this guy right here, Dan Ewing, who I know from Power Rangers. So he knows how to fight some, well, they weren't aliens, but he knows how to fight bad guys. I don't know particularly his character, the way they wrote him. But I do like the fact that you're just like everyday normal people who are brought into this fight. They're not soldiers like I thought it was going to be. They're normal people who are attacked by aliens from the stars, a distant galaxy, and they're forced to fight. I like that, because I saw this, and this is the sequel, but look at him. He's in like uniform and stuff. I'm like, oh, okay. He's gonna be like military. No, we don't. For the most part, I think the second one's gonna be like that. But for the most part, for the first one, we don't follow military. We follow these people just trying to survive. Like there's a pregnant woman in this, and there's a man trying to find his wife and stepson. And he's stuck there with his daughter. It's families. They're trying to find, like Danny Ewing's character Matt. He's trying to find his mother-in-law as well, or his girlfriend's mother. They're not married, but anyway. Yeah, but the effects in this, I was surprised, are actually better than I thought they were for a direct-to-video release. Sometimes wonky, but pretty good. The alien look, I will admit they looked better with the helmets on, but they're okay. The action sequences are pretty good. They're mostly towards the end of the film. There's some decent action scenes in the middle as well. And I think the cast does a great job portraying these roles. You got these characters. Most of them are from a small town. They know each other. They're like Arnold, this man who delivers the fruit. And there's this guy who's like a bum. And then there's Jackson and his wife. Or wife, whatever. And they're in the middle of playing a fucking soccer game when the aliens invaded. It's literally the explanation of Gramps. Well, he said that he was playing football. If you don't know, Gramps is a cartoon. I said I was going to, I don't know. I once said I was going to review new cartoons. Maybe I will do that. I'll get back to doing retro rewinds. I'll do those. But Gramps was a short in the What a Cartoon show where this old grandpa was telling stories to his two grandchildren. And he's like, I was playing football when the aliens invaded. I'm like, football? Weren't you in a dust bowl in Nebraska? Okay, I was in the dust bowl in Nebraska with the mule when the aliens invaded. And then at the end, he's telling a story about playing football. But, like, this is their version of football. Apparently, everywhere else, soccer is called football. We call it soccer here because we have our own football. Yeah, they're just playing that, and it happens. It's not like they were military. It's not like they were, I like it. And yes, you can compare it to Independence Day. You know, there are normal people in there, but there was a lot of military presence in that. But there's some military presence in this one. It's not heavily done. Like, you don't see, like, in Independence Day, there's a military presence right away. They're sending out Will Smith and Harry Connick Jr., and they're doing all this stuff. Well, here, we follow the survivors. We follow the real people, the main normal people trying to survive. That's who we follow. And I like that. And if you don't think there's some kind of connection to Independence Day, when Tamara Morrison and his family arrive, the daughter says, this town looks like it's stuck in 1996. And I went, that's a dig at Independence Day. I'm just saying. Yeah. And there is actually some decent drama. Like, not only between... okay. So I feel like the personal drama stuff should have kind of went away. But there's aliens around and people are saying, "Oi! You're the one who took my fruit." And I'm like, dude, there's really aliens in the sky, and you're yelling at a dude about stealing your fruit. This was towards the beginning of the film when the aliens started, but like the bum like hung on the back of the truck, and he comes like, "Oi, are you the guy who stole my fruit?" He starts yelling at him. I'm like, hello? I think there's bigger fish to fry. Even then, with Matt, I think he's supposed to be a drug addict, and so like stuff is going down, and he starts taking the drugs, and his girlfriend starts yelling at him, "Oh yeah, take another one." I'm like, wait, like you don't think he's gonna want some kind of stress reliever here? And if I do have a complaint, it's that Matt, who's supposedly our main character, is taken out for a chunk towards the end of the film. Like they're like leading an offensive, and he gets blown up and knocked out, and so we can follow the other people, and like, so this woman, I forget her name. Amelia? No, that's the girlfriend's name. Whatever. The other one. Vanessa. She tells her boyfriend, Jackson, or husband, whatever, boyfriend, whatever, at the beginning of the movie that she's pregnant. I'm like, oh, but the aliens are going to come in. And then, like, partway through the film, we jump 8 months, and she's just pregnant. But, like most, fake pregnant things they do in movies, they don't do anything to make her look pregnant other than attach a belly. Do you realize that they're more than just a big belly? She literally looks the same with the bigger belly, and it's like, no, I've seen my mom pregnant twice now. I've been through my ex getting pregnant. You get bigger, not just your stomach, your whole body. And it baffles me when you see pregnant women in movies. They don't do anything, but sometimes they go above. Obviously maybe you didn't have a budget, but sometimes, very rarely, you have where they take a little bit of incentive, but most of the time they just slap a fake belly on and say you're pregnant, which is not how it works at all. But that's literally what this Vanessa is here. They took 8 months and they show her and she's got a bigger belly, but everything else is the same. And it's like, okay, that's not realistic at all, but it's a movie, so I'll let it go. She starts to go into labor, and wouldn't you know it, at that exact time, the aliens start to attack their camp. How were they found the camp? I think maybe they followed them because they kidnapped an alien. I don't know. And so there's one thing I have to question here that had me going, what are we doing? Are we doing this? So they attack, they established there's like this warehouse that they attack because there's a kind of weapon there, and so they shoot off a bomb there and they blow up a bunch of the aliens. And then Amelia, she looks back and she sees like the aliens gathering each other like they're hurting, and it's like, oh, they're doing this, they're trying to, they're, they have problems too, and they're, maybe a reason why they're attacking. And it's like, yeah, but do you have to do that? And towards the end, at the end I should say, they do kind of work with a group of the aliens that are now on their side, They show that they're working with them. So there is that. But there's this warehouse, and that's where they're keeping most of the other people. It's where Tamara Morrison's wife and son are. It's where Amelia's mother is. All that stuff. And yeah, so they go there, and while they're doing this, the aliens attack, and she goes into labor just before this, and so like we gotta get out of here. They start taking her, and they stop literally, I don't know, 50 feet from their base to deliver the baby. And I understand in this kind of situation you have to stop because it's coming. But there's like 3 men there that are very strong, that could have taken, lift her up, moved her somewhere else. And then this guy, oh my god, this guy, I don't remember his name, I just call him Mustache Douche, okay? The douche with the mustache. She is giving birth, and he's saying, shut up, they'll hear you, shut up. She's giving birth. You can't shut up. To the point, he's about to knock her on the head with a stick, like a branch. And Tamara Morrison has to step in and stop him. Like, what is he No! What is wrong with you? I understand. I see to a point what he's trying to say here. But she can't be quiet. She is delivering a baby. And even more, it's natural. There's no, no drugs, nothing to take away the pain. So yeah, she's gonna scream. And when the baby is born, it's gonna scream. And you could say, oh, maybe it's a dig on The Quiet Place, which came out the same year. But she was quiet. That's one of my biggest complaints, was that there was no noise made. She was in pain and she just kept sort of being quiet. Although, I do remember now, don't start it. Well, actually, I know there was like explosions and stuff so she could scream. My complaint was, afterwards, the baby was quiet. And babies, newborns especially, don't do that. So, yeah, but, they're able to, get away. But she dies in childbirth. She dies after this and that. And that's probably the most pointless death. It is like, why did she die? Why did she have to die? It doesn't make any sense. Why she had to die. She just does. I don't know. And upon looking up the cast of the next one, I'm like, okay, she's not in it, so she's probably dead. And then Jackson's like, I'm gonna go help, and I'm like, okay, he's dead. He's not in the next one anyway. That's her husband, but whatever. But then they do this thing with Matt. By the way, by this point, he gets knocked out during that attack, and so they take him to the military base. The military show up out of nowhere. About fucking time. Took you 8 months. And they take him to this military camp, and then they say, okay, we have to do it. We have to go, and we have to, with the military's help, get to this warehouse, because that's the main plot of the film, apparently. And Jackson goes back, and he wakes Matt up by splashing water on him. The dude was unconscious. Yeah, don't wake someone else who's unconscious. There's different from being asleep and unconscious. There's difference. If you're asleep, you can splash water on someone, wake them up. Being unconscious, splashing water on them is not good to wake them up. But this movie thinks it does. I don't know. But he wakes up, they say we have to go help them, and they have this weapon. I was afraid that they were going to do something with this. Like, it's not a weapon, it's a cultivating resource to help them, because they may be invading us, but no, it's some kind of weapon. But he's able to go in there, and they play with your emotions. We're like, oh no, he might not survive. He's like, I love you, and I'm like, oh no, he's gonna die. Except for, yeah, I know he's in the sequel, so for me, it didn't work. I know he's already gonna be in the sequel. In fact, how did I find out about that movie anyway? Because I follow Dan Ewing on Instagram. So, yeah, I knew he was going to be in the sequel, so I knew he wasn't going to die unless it was flashback stuff, which could have happened, but yeah. And they do this thing, like, I think he's dead, and then they show him with the thing, It's just like dun dun dun. The music's playing. Like you're really supposed to bite that he didn't survive. So, obviously, you should go into this not knowing there's a sequel because that would work better. But yeah, and it's like oh my god, he's alive. Even though I knew he was gonna survive because he's in the second one. So yeah, but yeah, I gotta say I wasn't expecting much from this. Either I don't know what the next movie, but I'm saying when it comes to Occupation, it's pretty good. So now I dropped that on the floor. We're gonna move on to the sequel, and then I'll be done with the 2021. And finally, 8 months in to 2022, I will do my ranking. Alright. So what are your thoughts on Occupation? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm Scotty. I'll see you in the next one.